First off, guys, I'd like to thank you all for showing up today. My first time here in Seoul, in South Korea. I've never been this far east. As some of you know, I'm from America, born and raised in New York City, moved to LA, currently living in Dubai. And for all of you who support me, maybe just started following me, been following me for a long time, it's really appreciated, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Hi, nice to meet you. Also New Yorker, Kearney Park.
Okay.
Have you ever plateaued in your lifts?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, and when I plateaued was before I started working with a coach. So I had a good first, I want to say, year or two when I first started taking interest in powerlifting when I was 16, 17 years old. And at 17, I just hit a wall. Like I couldn't PR in anything. I was getting weird tweaks in my back and minor tears that was stopping me from progressing. And then as soon as I started working with a coach and following a structured program, it's just been on a steady incline ever since.
I'm a high school student in Korea, and I just wonder, when you first started your workout, like lifting, do you have a coach or personal trainer?
You know, I did not for a couple of years. When I first started training, I remember my first actual workout session was with a broomstick and a couple of cinder blocks. I just looked up some information on YouTube, bicep curls, floor presses, shoulder press, front lateral raises. I mean, front shoulder raises, and I just did that for a few months. Pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, just very basic. But I got most of my information my first couple of years off of YouTube. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
What do you like most about Korea?
The Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue?
Yeah, 100%.
What about the nightlife? You haven't experienced the nightlife yet?
I had a taste of it. We went to, where was it?
Alice?
Alice, yes. There was 1920s and 30s music and interesting drinks, but
Okay.
felt like I was in a movie set.
Enjoy your stay.
Thank you so much.
I'm Jun, and I just want to know what you like the most in the training session. For instance, like back day or the push day or legs day, what do you like the most?
I'd say deadlift is the king of the lifts. I love training deadlift, not particularly training back. My favorite pump is definitely a bicep pump. That always feels amazing, but I get the most adrenaline and satisfaction from doing a heavy deadlift. Absolutely, yeah.
I heard that you got injured on your biceps. Is it okay right now?
You know,
train with Jae-young?
yes, I'll be, you know, it was torn from the shoulder and the tendon disattached from the muscle. So there's no surgery that can be done, unfortunately. But my PT and doctor both say that I'll be back 100% in just a couple of months. It's already been about almost a month since it happened. Time's flying. Better by the day, and I'm working with a PT for the last couple of weeks, and he just has me slowly progressing in training. Right now it's very light, even though my legs and my back and everything else but my biceps are healed. I want to, like, healing an injury takes a lot from your body, right? So I'm taking it easy right now, but it's getting better by the day. Yeah, thanks for asking.
What's your experience with crossover training between powerlifting, bodybuilding, and strongman, and what's your opinion on it? Would you suggest doing it, or like stick to one thing, or does it help one another? Kind of opinion, I guess.
Well, I do all three because mentally it keeps me fresh and motivated. You know, there's a time, I think it was for when I was 18 to 21, where I did nothing but powerlifting. I didn't focus on strongman, I didn't focus on bodybuilding. I've been gifted with good genetics, so I'm naturally lean with a fast metabolism. So I've always had a lean physique, but I've always had an interest in bodybuilding, strongman, but for that time period, for those 4 years, 3-4 years, I just focused on just powerlifting, and after a couple of years, it gets very mentally exhausting, and I started losing motivation. And I find when you switch from powerlifting to bodybuilding to strongman, or even just do two, it just keeps me fresh and motivated. Now, the training styles are very, very different. Like for bodybuilding, everything is high rep, focusing on the pump. You're not using a lot of weight. I think there's some Mr. Olympia training videos with Phil Heath where he's curling 20-pound dumbbells with 25-inch arms. you know. And then strongman training, I just started doing in January this year. There's a lot for me to learn in strongman, but the training is so much different than doing powerlifting or bodybuilding. So that's really exciting for me. And it's really fresh, you know, because after you do powerlifting for so long, you know, majority of powerlifting is squat, bench, deadlift, right? So not that it gets boring, but it's good to take a rest from that and come back to it later so that you stay 100% motivated and peaked, you know. And with bodybuilding, that's mentally exhausting more than anything. When you have to cut for a show, it's probably the most stressful thing I put my body through out of all three. Like, I find bodybuilding the most difficult. You know, strongman is a lot of fun, but I can eat whatever I want. I just have to stay in a calorie excess. Powerlifting, same thing, eat whatever I want, calorie excess, squat, bench, deadlift. But with bodybuilding, when you have to cut back calories and you can't eat what you want to eat, I love food, I'm a foodie, I love to eat out and enjoy different cuisines. It really sucks. I find it the most difficult, yeah, for sure.
I know that you have a really good deadlift, and everyone knows here that knows you have a really good deadlift. And then something I've been trying is, you know, just take it slow from the ground. But I usually see you do like, you know, rip and go. Do you have any like advice on doing rip and go, or just taking it slowly off from the floor?
I like to think of it as controlled aggression. You want to lift efficiently as quickly as possible. The more time you spend in the bottom position, setting up, you can potentially psych yourself out. That's what used to happen to me, especially when you're going for a PR or you're exhausted. The longer you spend setting up and thinking about what you have to do and what's coming, the more you're going to psych yourself out. So I would say practice the exact same setup so you don't have to think about it. You can just, the quicker you do it, the less time you have to psych yourself out, and the less energy you're spending actually setting up, because staying in this position, even just for a few seconds, is taking away precious power, right? So I like to just set up as quickly as possible so that I'm not my own worst enemy. Like, oh, am I gonna be able to lift it? Am I gonna get it hurt? Am my hands exactly where they're supposed to be? So I would just recommend practicing the exact same setup to a point where you can do it with your eyes closed and like I said, controlled aggression. Don't just pick up the bar with a cat back and not worry about your technique. I would just refine it until you can do it as quickly but as efficiently as possible, under control. Yeah.
So do you think you'll be competing in strongman with your workout partner, The Mountain, anytime soon?
You know, he invited me this summer to do Iceland's Strongest Man, and unfortunately I had to decline because I'm injured. Right? But 100% would like to next year compete in Iceland's Strongest Man. I love Iceland. I think it's a beautiful country. Everyone there is a giant. You know, if you go to any mall in Iceland, everyone's minimum 6 feet tall. Even the urinals are higher. I have to get on my tippy toes to take a piss. So I 100% would like to compete with him. I've lifted with him, but I've never actually competed against him. So that'd be fun. Absolutely.
You have been trained with many celebrities like Jujimufu or Hefter. Which one is your best experience?
Oh, You know, I spent the most time with Thor, and I would have to say Thor would be the best experience. It was the culture shock, going to Iceland, my first time actually living abroad. It was my first time going to train strongman. So everything was new, fresh, and exciting. And I've also never lifted with somebody or even really met or been close to somebody that huge. He's a true freak of nature and a giant. You know, even to this day, it's been 7 months later, and when I see him, I'm still shocked at just how big he is, you know. Because I'm big, and then it's crazy that somebody out there exists that can make me seem normal, you know. But not only that, Thor has a huge support system in Iceland. All his family and friends are there to support him every workout. They help rack his weights and get his equipment put up together, give him meals and cheer him on. It's just really heartwarming to see. It's motivating for me and inspiring, because I feel like your support system makes a huge difference in how far you end up getting, and Thor's made it very far in the last couple of years. And Jujimufu I've only met him a few times, but he's a lot of fun to be around. for sure. And he's probably the nicest person I've ever met. He has nothing but good things to say about people. He's always extremely positive and optimistic. And he is also a freak of nature. He's jacked and he busts out middle splits. He's extremely mobile. Most big guys we can hardly wipe our butt. We can hardly touch our toes. And for a little while after I saw him, like, I want to do the middle splits. He inspired me to get more flexible. But yeah, I have nothing but nice things to say about Jiu-Jitsu. But I would say, because I had more experience with Thor, and I was living in a different country, and everything was like it's new, fresh, and exciting. I would say Thor would be the best experience so far, for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, hi, my name is Beck, and I have one personal question, maybe. Maybe most of us here are not a professional, so we are just a hobby lifting guys. So I have 3 years ago, I followed lots of lifting programs like Juggernaut or Cube Method, something like that. But I found out I have to go to work, and I have to do lots of those kind of work. So I found that I got some kind of depression since then. I have to do the PR as my program program says to me, but I can't because I was kind of depressed and really exhausted. So have you ever? But since you're a professional lifter, so have you ever found that kind of problem, or what do you think of those kind of problems? I still cannot balance between my regular work and my lifting things. So have you ever?
Absolutely, yes. And when you follow a program like Juggernaut or the Cube, it's kind of like a one-size-fits-all. So it's not tailored for every individual and their circumstances. Like for me, I do well because I get lots of sleep. I don't work 40 plus hours a week. I have a relatively low workload, so I have plenty of time to sleep and recover. And recovery is your best friend when it comes to training and in PRs. Recovery is the most important part of training, right? You're only as good as your recovery. If you're injured, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating, it's going to be almost impossible to progress in the gym. Now, if you find you're overwhelmed, like you say you are with work, and you can't find a good balance, I'd recommend working with a PT for a short time, and he can tailor a program and training strategy specifically for you. He can work around your work schedule, and you just have to keep him updated on, hey, I just worked 12 hours yesterday, and I'm to hit this PR today. What should I do? And he'd be able to advise you and tell you what's best. Maybe that means taking a couple days off to rest, maybe waiting until you have another full night's rest to go for that PR. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend, for sure. No worries.
Since you started training, you've already achieved several achievements. And what is your ultimate goal currently? And which thing motivates you now? That's my question. Yeah.
At the moment, it's to have a podium finish in World's Strongest Man, pro card and bodybuilding. The bodybuilding one, I believe, will take the longest because, for one, it's a marathon, and I just started taking bodybuilding seriously about a year ago. And it took me about 4 years of powerlifting before I got any good. It took many years of failure and bombing on meets, missing lifts, getting hurt, before I started knowing what I was doing and becoming a good powerlifter. So the same thing goes for strongman and bodybuilding. I'm new to the sports, right? Just started strongman this year, bodybuilding last year. So I'm giving myself at least a few years before I consider myself good. But I also want a 308 record in knee sleeves held by Eric Lillybridge. No one's touched it for years. I think Eric is still the best powerlifter alive right now. He's jacked. He's been doing this since he's a teenager. He's still super strong. He has a lot of videos on YouTube that even motivate me to this day. So I have a lot of respect for him, and that's definitely my next goal in powerlifting, to get that 308 knee sleep record. And besides that, pro card and bodybuilding, and a podium finish in World's Strongest Man.
Question, what's your specific plan for the next powerlifting meet? And I guess another question is, what are your biggest fears when it comes to training?
Okay. The biggest fear would be an injury that I can't recover from. Now, I've heard of people tearing their Achilles tendon. I've heard of people having hernias and all kinds of severe injuries, and it seems like most of them have been able to come back. But the biggest fear would be an injury that I can't come back from. But I've said in videos before, and I'll say it today, like I'll lose a leg, an arm, an ear, whatever, and I'll find a way to train around it, and I'll still be motivated to train, But I know that I won't be hitting PRs the rest of my life, so I'm not scared of one day, getting weaker or not hitting PRs anymore. It would be more so an injury that like I said, I can't come back from, because that's going to be a hard time for me. I'll get around it, I'll get past it, but that'd be the worst of it, accepting that I won't be the same again. This injury will heal, I'll be back 100%. I've torn my hamstring twice. I've come back from that. I've torn my pec. I've torn my quad. I've come back from that. So that's what would be devastating for me. Something that I can't come back from. Yeah.
He also asked if you're gonna compete in a powerlifting meet too.
Yeah, right. So because I got injured right before the Strongman show, I'm gonna do another show early next year, and then after that show, I'll put on enough size and strength to have a really good shot at taking that 3-weight record I mentioned. So that's my plan. And around about spring, summertime next year, I intend on taking it for sure.
At the current?
Most likely at the current, yeah, because judging strict. But it would have to be at a meet where the judging strict and that there's no controversy whether I squatted deep enough, the bench pause was long enough. I don't want any controversy. What's that?
Like SPF.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You said that you tore your pec. I also tore my pec. So I just want to get some of your advice or your approach coming back from that injury, because after I tore my pec, many things have to be different. I didn't tore from bench pressing or doing specific to anything specific to powerlifting. I actually got it from judo, but it's definitely affecting my bench press. I can't really do a lot of volume as before, and then now I have to grip really close grip in order to bench press without any pain. I wonder how it was different for you.
Can I ask, have you worked with any PTs yet?
Yes, I worked with a PT. This was actually about 3 to 4 years ago.
Okay.
And now I'm actually in physical therapy school because of that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, something good came from that.
Yeah. Anyway, there's no pain when I do just normal daily stuff, but when I do bench press, if I do a wider grip, I can't really get the same strength. But with close grip, it's almost same as before.
Understood. And how wide are you gripping the bar when you do your regular bench?
Regular was
where was your finger on the knurling?
I would say my pinky was on the knurling.
Okay.
The ring.
Okay.
But now it's
ring.
more only an inch from the middle starting portion of the.
Where the knurling starts?
Right.
And then if you try to go any wider, it's just too much pain to continue, even with when you're warming up.
It's not too much pain on my pec. It's I also have other things on my shoulder too.
That's what I was going to ask next. Have you gotten an MRI?
Yes, I got an MRI
Okay.
before, and they said that I've a torn labrum. I have a slap tear, and then also some impingement. And I think that's one of the reasons why I can't do a wide grip. But I just want to know if because you came back and your bench press is crazy, so I just want to ask what are some of the ways that you came around in terms of training and stuff like that? No, I actually didn't get surgery.
Was surgery recommended?
No.
Okay.
They said that you'll be able to do normal stuff without a surgery. So I thought, that wouldn't affect my training too much, but I found that it's affecting, well, not other stuff, but definitely my bench press a lot.
Understood. Because it happened so long ago, I would even recommend getting another MRI scan to see how it's healed since then. Okay. And definitely seeing a reputable doctor who deals with athletes, and because I'm not sure if the one who you worked with when it first happened may have told you can do regular exercise, but you can't do heavy bench press. I don't know what I don't know if he knew what your intentions were in the future. For example, when I tore my bicep, the doctor said you don't have to do surgery or you don't have to rehab it if you don't care about lifting heavy again. Most people who who don't get surgery and don't rehab it, they just want to return to normal functionality. They just wanted to get back to how it was normally. They don't care about hitting a PR in the future or lifting heavy again. So I would recommend another MRI scan to see how it healed. You know, because it's been a long time, and after this much time, it should have gotten better, and it sounds like it hasn't gotten much better at all. If you can't, now, like when you go light, is it still bad or?
Right, when I do close grip and I go light, I have no problem. Or it's like, I get like kind of scared, you know, like re-tearing. So I'll do conservatively, but I still have that like, you know, inside my mind, I still want to I want to go back to 100%, like if that's possible, you know?
Yeah, in that case, I would 100% recommend another MRI scan. It only takes an hour, you know? And after that, bring that scan to a PT, a reputable one, and then, you know, definitely tell him what you're going through and how it's been years and hasn't gotten better, you know, because this has been a long time, and I think it will give you so much peace of mind if you have the imaging and you have the MRI and you know exactly what's going on there. And then they'll be able to tell you, especially if you have the previous results from years ago. I'm sure they can pull it up somehow. They can compare, like, oh, this is what went wrong, this is how you fix it, you know. But as far as like, there aren't, unfortunately, like any secrets in the gym that can help you recover faster. But with technology today, like MRI scans and PTs, and just I feel like that's the best tool in your toolbox, for sure.
All right. I just have one more question. Sorry.
no worries.
Sorry. Did you, because of the tear that you have, did you have to change like your bench press programming, or like the way that you bench press, like in terms of grip, your width, or just anything?
The reason it tore, I believe, is I wasn't warmed up. The gym I was lifting at was freezing. I wasn't sweating. I was almost shivering. Everyone in the gym at the time had on a hoodie. That's how cold it was. And I had on a tank top. You know, this was at Mark Bell Super Training Gym. Right, it was freezing in there. It was being filmed. Had the tank top on, it looked jacked, and I regretted it. It was only with maybe 80% of my max where it tore. And you know, today I can do that. That weight I did that day, the first rep per tour, I can do that for 10 now, 11 now, right? I think I actually did it for 12. I did 500 for 12, and it tore on the first rep. So that just tells me I just wasn't warmed up enough. I was cold, and I didn't bring the bar down under control. So I do my best now to just slow down, to just make sure everything's under control. Not too slow, like it's a negative, but just make sure that I'm not just bouncing it off my chest. So that's how I fixed that. Like, it hasn't happened again since. You know, I just make sure now every time I lift, I'm at least breaking a sweat before I even start lifting. Now, the bicep tore for, I believe, the same reason. I was lifting outside in Wembley in the UK. I was freezing, and I did a little bit of warm up, but it wasn't enough. And something in my gut was telling me I shouldn't do this right now. It's too cold out. I'm not warmed up enough. I did anyways, and it tore. You know, so highly recommend. Now, after you get the injury checked out, just making sure you're at least breaking a sweat before you start warming up with any weight. Yeah.
Thanks.
No worries.
More of a selfish question. My rest actually has been going for like 30 minutes plus. So, what's your suggestion for when your rest becomes like longer than the suggested 3 to 5 minutes under extenuating circumstances?
Under what circumstances?
Extenuating circumstances. Like, because like we were having the meet and greet. So, what would you do if you had to go back to do that MRAP top set? Would you warm up again from the bottom up, or would you just go and smash it?
I would do some mobility work, try to get a sweat going. So that's happened before in a training session. Somebody comes in, you know, we have a long conversation. Next thing you know, 20 minutes pass. Especially would recommend that if you've been resting even as little as 10 minutes. That's a long time. I would do your normal mobility routine. No weight, just dynamic stretching,
Cool.
and then try work below sweat.
What kind of
And-
dynamic stretching? Sorry, what kind of dynamic stretching would you recommend for getting back into the heavy working set?
Just a quick full body dynamic stretch, like touching your piriformis, your hamstrings, your pecs, your lats, foam rolling for a little bit. But all in all, this should take no more than 10 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, rest, just sit down or talk for 20 minutes. You're cold now, and then try and bang out another set. It wouldn't go well. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
I think your hair is always short. What about hair cutting cycle? I'm 1 week, 1 cut. How about you?
How often do you cut your hair?
How often? Once a week. Sometimes it'll go as much as 2 weeks, and then it starts changing the shape of my head.
Cut yourself?
I have a barber. Yeah. I probably could cut myself. I think I will one day learn. But at the moment, I use a barber. And I tried growing my hair out into a big afro, but it's too much maintenance. And I decided the buzz cut fits me the best. Yeah, it makes everything else look bigger.
Made you want to move to Dubai?
So, at this point in my life, I'm traveling a lot. I finally have the time to do it. I can afford to do it, and like I never have been before. Traveling to this part of the world, basically anywhere that's not America or South America, from Dubai to here, Dubai to Tokyo, Dubai to the Middle East, or Dubai to the UK or Iceland, it cuts down flight costs, flight travel time. So that's huge for me because I'm traveling to a different country twice a month now. And beyond that, Dubai is an affordable luxury. It's cheaper than LA. There's no traffic. It's always sunny. I love the sun. It's hot, no doubt, but I don't mind the heat because in Dubai, I don't work outdoors. I spend maybe a minute in the sun a day, and everywhere's air conditioned, so it's not a big deal. Dubai is 86% foreigner, just a statistic I looked up online. So it's a melting pot. It's almost like New York City. You just get so many different races and cultures mixed in, and I like that about it. Also, the gym facilities there, the gyms there, are amazing. They're all huge. They're all fully equipped. They're all missing something, though, whether it's good lighting or they're missing some equipment, but they have good lighting, something along those lines. So that's the only downside. But aside from that, they have all the equipment I need there, and there's so many. I think just in a 20-minute radius of where I live, there's about 30 gyms with powerlifting equipment, strongman stuff, CrossFit, bodybuilding, just everything. So that's really cool about it. Yeah, but I love it there. And like I said, it's very affordable, much more affordable than I thought it was when I first heard about Dubai.
So are you planning to stay in Dubai for the time being?
Yeah, absolutely. At least for a few years. And if you visit Dubai and you ask the locals that live there what made them move there and did they think they were going to stay there for a long time, most of them thought no. They said, I'll just be here for a few months or maybe a year. And then they end up telling you, I'm here 5 years now, I'm here 10 years. So I think I'm going to end up being the same.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Do you think you'll ever visit Korea again or to train true?
Oh, absolutely. I will definitely be here, 100%.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. And also, 영어 통역 가능하니까 뭐 질문하실 거 있으시면은 질문해 주시면 저희가 통역을 바로바로 해드릴게요. 네네.
Allow me to translate. So.
I want to exercise for my whole life, but right now I'm doing it because it's fun. But what if the fun is getting little when time goes by?
Understood. In that case, I compete not just because I love to compete, but because it keeps me motivated and it makes me take training seriously. When you don't have any serious goals in mind, other than maybe you want to change your body composition or you want to hit a PR in the gym, I think it's easier to lose motivation versus when you commit to a competition, any competition. It can even just be a local a local gym that's giving a bench press competition. It doesn't have to be a powerlifting meet.
Like us. We're going to have competitions.
Exactly.
Well, he's a member, so.
You know, when you commit to something like a competition, it brings the best out of you. And when you have to perform in front of a crowd, like you do at most competitions, at all competitions, you don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to disappoint anyone or yourself. So it keeps you motivated to do your best. Like I said, it brings the best out of you when you compete, for sure. And that's actually my main reason that I continue to compete, because it keeps me motivated. It keeps me motivated to train and take training seriously.
Hi, Larry. As I understand it, one of your previous stops was Colorado. Was it Colorado?
Not Colorado.
Not Colorado. So
Yeah.
you didn't get to train with Brian Shaw?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
That was my intention,
That was your
actually.
intention.
I was actually supposed to be in Colorado right now, but because I got injured, the plan was to do a heavy deadlift with Brian,
Sure.
then go to Vegas and see Jay Cutler and then LA. But I canceled that whole trip because torn bicep, and I'm not going to be doing any crazy PRs. And, you know, from Dubai to America, it's a really long, expensive trip. And America is not too exciting for me right now. You know, I've been there all my life. I've been around most of the country. And just the time and the money it takes to get there for not a heavy, crazy PR lift.
Sure.
You know, I've met Brian a few times. I've met Jay. I've met, you know, all these guys I was going to collab with. So I know that I'll see them again in the future when I'm fully recovered and I'm ready to have a big, heavy training session. But at the moment, I didn't think it was worth it for me to go in there handicapped.
Can I ask then, you made a video with Eddie Hall last I remember.
Yes.
So how's your relationship been with him, and I don't know, I believe you've trained with him before. What have you learned from that relationship?
He's been sort of like a mentor. I mean, we speak almost every day. He comments on all my posts on Instagram and YouTube. He's very engaged in my social media. And he's always there to give advice and help me out for anything I need, anything at all, whether it's recovery or training for Strongman or traveling, just about everything. So he's been a huge supporter since I've met him, absolutely. And he's doing really well with the Strongest Man in History and History channel. Yeah, he's doing really well. Happy for his success.
Well, thank you for answering that question.
Will you be doing any military visits?
While I'm here in Seoul?
Or anywhere in any point in time?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Any bases, Camp Humphreys is down the road.
Down the road, is it?
Well, about an hour away.
Yeah, you know, I'll be happy to. I'm here until the 29th, and if it's only an hour away, I've never done a military-based visit. I think that'd be great. I've been asked, but the bases were nowhere near where I was staying. It was like, oh, it's just 4 hours away, or, you know. So, yeah, I'd be happy to. Now, if I show up at the base, how would I get into the base? Would you bring me in, or?
I could. You just need a visitor's pass.
Just a visitor's pass, okay. And would I get that from you or online?
Right in front of the gate. You
Oh, right
stop.
in
There's a
front.
little visitor center there.
Okay. I've never been to a base in my life, so I don't have no idea what to expect, but I'm happy to do it.
It's like a super base. It's like basically a town in and of itself. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
We got a super gym. That's what it's called.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there?
We're better.
No doubt. No doubt.
Just saying.
No doubt. No doubt. They're better. They're better.
Thank you.
영상 보면은 다 이제 컨벤 데드를 많이 하잖아요. 컨벤셔널 데드. 혹시 스모 데드리프트를 안 하는 이유가 있는지.
So I'll translate. His nickname is Sumo King in Korea. So yeah, he's a fan of the sumo deadlift. Very good at it. He's our coach, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
So he's just asking, like, you seem to be a conventional deadlifter, like diehard conventional. Is there a reason you don't sumo, or you just never tried it, or ever plan on trying it?
Biggest reason would be I think conventional looks cooler. And
Sumo's cheating?
That's the second one. But no, I think I have a lot of respect for sumo lifters. I know the mobility required to do it correctly and efficiently. You know, I've been closely following Dr. Deadlift, Yuri Belkin, the best sumo deadlifters in the world, and I'm always amazed at how they can lift quadruple plus their body weight. And I mean, they're definitely more than me. And yeah, it's a shorter range of motion, but these guys, you know, aren't naturally get through with that kind of mobility. You have to work hard for it. And I believe doing a proper sumo deadlift is a lot harder than doing a conventional deadlift, because a conventional deadlift, you do a quick 10-minute warm up and you're good to go. But sumo is a different world. You know, it's a lot harder in my opinion. Yeah, for sure.
Have you ever even tried it?
I have tried it, and that's why I went back to convention. It was a bit too much for me. Yeah, once I learned what it would take to get into that position, I couldn't stick to it. And also, I still think convention looks cooler. Yeah.
So is it cheating or not?
It's not cheating, because sure, it's a shorter range. There's no doubt. But as I said before, the mobility work it takes to get to that, to be able to do a efficient sumo deadlift is difficult, right? So there's pros and cons, just like with a conventional deadlift. It's not cheating.
When you do your deadlift with your alternate grip, it will be worse your injury. Did you think about using hook grip?
Sorry?
Did you think about using hook grip?
Hook grip. I've tried using hook grip, and because I like to set up quickly, I've steered away from it. I'm sure with practice, I can actually set up quicker with a hook grip. I've seen Dr. Deadlift do it. He sets it very quickly with his hook grip. But frankly, it's painful, and I've never torn a bicep doing mixed grip, so I didn't see the need to switch. But because it's funny you asked that, because I'm in hypertrophy right now, I'm just training to get bigger, put on more size. I'm not doing any crazy heavy deadlifts. I was considering doing hook grip, because now that I'm doing bodybuilding, I want symmetrical development in my back. And when you do mixed grip, it's not going to be symmetrical, right? Hook grip allows you to pull over, which is for your body, it's more ideal than a mixed grip, because it's asymmetrical, right? Yeah. So I'm actually going to work on it this year, and hopefully I'll get equivalent to what my conventional deadlift used to be. My mixed grip used to be. Yeah. Do you train hook grip at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find a difference with mixed and hook now that you've gotten good at hook, or do you just start doing hook?
I'm using strap.
Strap.
Oh. Strap and hook grip. Extra secure, just in case. We've seen your straps break, so you know. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When we deadlift 900 pounds, we just want to make sure.
I'd rather fall with the bar than drop the bar. Yeah.
This is a very interesting question, I guess. The Instagram account, Larry's Belt and Larry's Face, are they your personal account, or did someone make them?
There's two different people who run those accounts.
Oh, wow.
One guy lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and another guy, I actually have never met the Larry's Belt guy or seen his face. He keeps it discreet. But I'm usually appreciative from them making the pages, because it adds a lot of humor to my page.
Definitely.
And shows a different side of me. Right. But they've been, I think Faces of Larry's been around for almost 2 years now. Yeah, it's been a long time, and Larry's Belt just came around. I can't believe Instagram page for my belt has gotten that big, to be honest. I never thought that would happen.
Yeah. And I guess just one more question. Do you ever plan to try weightlifting?
Actually, yeah, I do. I intend on trying it, because one day in the future, in about 5-6 years from now, I intend on coming down in size. Yeah. Because when you compete at the highest level, it's not healthy, especially for long term. I don't want to deal with too many long term side effects of what I'm doing at the moment, whether it's injury or organ abuse, whatever. So I want to come down in size, and I want to increase my mobility, and I want to give weightlifting a try. But right now, if I were to get into weightlifting, it would just be too much on my plate. I'm already doing 3, and once I do weightlifting, I'll definitely back off of doing super heavy strongman and powerlifting training, for sure.
So that's when you need to use hook grip.
Exactly, yeah. So I'll start now, and hopefully in a few years from now, I'll be decent.
Right.
Yeah, with hook grip.
Yep. Which one do you enjoy most amongst the 3? Powerlifting, strongman, and bodybuilding right now?
I would say strongman. Everything's new and exciting, and I feel like that's what I'm most naturally talented at, strength and speed. Now, because I'm so new to it, there's a lot I have to learn, especially when it comes to technique and getting used to all the different equipment. But that's what makes it so fun. Yeah.
All right. Do you see any benefits of using weighted carries for powerlifting in general?
Weighted carries?
Yeah. Just like yokes or...
Me-
Because you've been
oh.
recently doing a lot of yokes and stuff. Yoke
Yeah,
walks.
you know, I spoke to Nick Best. He has a world record in the yoke walk,
Right.
farmer's walk. He's one of the best in the world at that specific event.
Right.
And he told me that when you're running with a yoke, that's 9 kilograms. If that's 440 to 500 kilograms, and you walk in, 10, 20 yards with it.
Right.
When you unrack a barbell with a significant amount of less weight than that, it's going to feel much lighter in your back, and it 100% will give you much more confidence and stability when you actually squat. When you
Right.
do super heavy yoke and farmers.
Would you still say that considering cost-benefit ratio? For example, like risk-benefit ratio? So like if you are doing yoke, of course it's going to take a lot out of your body. Then would you still considering it as a good accessory for squats maybe, or like deadlifts?
Absolutely. Now, the yoke as an accessory for the squat would have to be done. You squat first, then you do the yoke.
Right.
Right? Now, if you're doing a strongman competition and yoke is one of the events, then you make the yoke the first movement, and then the squat will be the accessory to the yoke. So that's whichever you prioritize. Yeah.
Thanks.
No worries.
그 스쿼트를 하실 때 이 무릎에 아무것도 안 차실 때도 있고 무릎에 찰 때도 있는데 그 니랩 같은 거를 혹시 잘 안 쓰시는 것 같아서 안 좋아하는 건지 그게 궁금해서.
So he said sometimes he sees you squat just nothing on your knees, sometimes with wraps, sometimes with sleeves. Basically kind of like, is there a reason that you don't use the wraps that often, or which one do you prefer, that kind of thing?
Training with knee wraps is almost, in my opinion, like doing a sumo deadlift versus a conventional deadlift. It's very different. It feels completely different. The walkout's different. It's harder. The movement feels different. You're in a different bar path. And I haven't had enough time in wraps to get good at wraps. I would give wraps a try for a month and then back off because I decided I wanted to do knee sleeves. So I never committed to getting good at knee wraps. And from what I've heard from other powerlifters who are good and squat more with wraps, they spent months practicing and getting better using knee wraps because it's a skill. It takes time to get used to it. For one, when if you put on knee wraps for the first time, it's painful. You can't walk. You can't squat. It feels very awkward. But over time, you get used to it, and eventually you end up lifting more with wraps than without. But I prefer to lift raw, and I sometimes do use elbow wraps, but that's from the bicep information I get from squatting, and it only adds maybe 5 kilos to my bench, whereas a knee wrap can add 40 kilos or more to your squat, and that's just too much help. I prefer lifting with minimal help, minimal support, so that's why I use knee sleeves. Yeah.
로우로 할 때 혹시 다친 적은 없는지. 네, 그 좀.
You probably do plenty of rows, right? Yeah, he's just wondering, like, have you ever been injured while doing rows in any way?
Injured while doing rows? No, I haven't actually. I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. That's something that hasn't gotten me.
I think I'll ask a question I think could benefit everyone. Koreans aren't really like as aware of like certain types of nutrition for like powerlifting, bodybuilding, etc. You're like 270 pounds, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how many like grams of protein do you have per day, like per body weight pounds? Like how much would you recommend that we eat? That kind of thing, and how many calories total?
Okay, no worries. What's most important is following a meal plan and not skipping meals. Now, I for one know how difficult it is to stick to a meal plan. A meal plan usually consists of food that you don't really want to eat every day. For me, it means lots of white rice, lots of potato, sweet potato, lots of red meat. Now, for everyone in here, I think, who's interested in powerlifting, it's important to stay in a calorie excess. Unless you're trying to get a world record, I wouldn't advise cutting, because when you start cutting weight, that's when you run at risk for injury. Because you cut, let's say 5-10 kilos, and then the next day you got to hit a PR. There's a good chance that you're going to get hurt, and I've seen it a lot. So it happened to me, it happened to other top, like Dan Green and other top competitors. So I advise against cutting weight unless you're going for a world record. As far as what to eat, I should say how much to eat, as long as you follow a meal plan and slowly increase each week and, be honest with yourself, like, have I had all 5 meals today? Did I finish all 5 meals today? Because even just leaving like a little handful of food in the plate and not finishing your entire plate can make a big difference. Like, because all those little handfuls of food add up, like a little ball of rice here, every meal 5 times a day adds up very quickly. So I would just advise finishing all the food on your plate. Sounds simple, but I've been guilty of it. I'm supposed to eat a huge meal, and I would always leave just like a little bit of food left in all of the meals. And then if you add up all that food, it equates to like 1 meal out of that day. Then that 1 meal a day that you're not really eating, with all that scrap you left behind, could be like 6, 7 meals a week. So I would say for sure follow a meal plan and be honest with yourself. Don't skip meals and finish all the food on your plate, and that can make a big difference. There's not really any secret to it. I think all diet plans work if you follow them, for sure.
How many grams of protein do you get a day?
It's just 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Okay.
Now I'm actually going to switch from that because when you eat protein, chicken, beef, for one, it takes a lot of energy to chew that much protein. It's exhausting. It takes a lot of time. When you eat rice or potato, you can get through so much rice and so much potato so quickly. You add some butter, some salt, seasoning, and you can get through it so much faster than just a handful of meat, So I'm actually going to cut that down to just half a gram of protein per pound of body weight, so that I can eat more carbs.
Okay.
Because carbs what make me feel full, big, and strong. Yeah.
Just to follow up to the previous question, actually, what kind of supplements you take, like creatine, BCAA, pre-workout? What kind of supplements also do you suggest for like beginner, intermediate, or advanced powerlifter, or any lifter in general?
Yeah, pre-workout, every workout. Of course, PR pre-workout, my own pre-workout. BCAAs on heavy training days or days where I know the intensity is very high. And I'll sip that in between workouts. It's just, amino acids and sugars that keep you feeling 100% throughout the entire workout. For one, if you don't take BCAAs, amino acids, or anything like intra-workout, what will happen is you'll start the workout feeling amazing the first 30 minutes. You feel pumped, adrenaline's going. Then after 30 minutes, you still like an hour lifting your workout, and you're feeling kind of run down, and you're dragging your feet through the workout. It's hard to push yourself. But if you have an intra-workout, you'll feel like you did that first 30 minutes from start to finish, all the way to the end of your workout. So that's the kind of, but it's not that it's making you stronger, but it's keeping you fully energized when you really need it. So actually that could make you push yourself harder. Yeah, and as far as protein powder, I don't take any protein powder.
Yeah.
It gives me really bad gas.
Okay.
I don't take any multivitamin, and I don't take anything other than what I mentioned. Yeah, I keep it simple. Just intra-workout BCAAs and pre-workout. Yeah.
Not even creatine?
Creatine I haven't been taking, but when I first started training, I did. And creatine has to be taken every day, all year round, if you want to keep the benefit from it. Because if you stop taking it, you'll lose the benefits it was giving you. You'll lose the size you put on, the little bit of strength it gives you. So, and it's completely safe. It's natural. It's found in meat. You can take it every day, all year round. Just put it in your pre-workout, your protein shake, if you take shakes, and you can take it safely all year round, no problem. There's no need to cycle on and off. Yeah.
And this is a kind of, I guess, sensitive question. I understand if you don't answer to this question, but what's your opinion on SARMs?
SARMs, such as like peptides?
Like the selective androgen receptive modulators?
Pro-hormones, I found when I first started experimenting with gear and stuff, to be a lot more potent and powerful than traditional anabolic steroids. And more toxic. Pro-hormones made me feel the most run down, made me feel the most sick, gave me the worst stomach pain, the worst side effects, but also the most power and strength, the most power and size. I would not recommend SARMs. It's definitely not natural. It's, like I said, I think it's some of them are more powerful than taking, for example, some tren or D-ball. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And I guess another one is about what do you think about the powerlifters and strongman promoting CDBs?
CBD?
CDBs.
CD?
The CBDs.
Oh,
yeah,
CBD?
CBDs, yeah, sorry.
So, before this year, I smoked marijuana every day, right? It was an addiction. I smoked it every day, post-workout. It would help me come down, relax from the pre-workout I took. That got me really fired up.
Post-workout.
Exactly. Yeah, I would do it post-workout. That was my post-workout. I'd smoke, I'd eat, I'd take a nap, and then I'd finish the rest of my day off, right? But with THC, for me, not everybody, it made me feel very lazy, very lethargic. It gave me a smell, made my clothes smell, my hair smell. It also made me feel not as sharp as I do now that I quit. I quit in January this year. I haven't touched it, or CBD, and I would honestly say I definitely feel a difference. I don't have to rely. I would have to rely on that just to fall asleep. I became kind of dependent on it, to be honest. And CBD is a different ball game. Most CBD has very little THC, not enough to even make a difference. And the CBD that I did experiment with, I smoked the CBD that I got in LA. It made me relaxed, almost as if it just made me relaxed. That's all it did for me. It just made me feel relaxed. Not as if I was smoking THC, where I'm so relaxed that all I want to do is sleep. It just made me feel relaxed. You know, it was very, very mild.
What about eating? Did it make you eat more?
It didn't stimulate my appetite. It didn't make me feel sluggish or lethargic like THC would, but it did make me feel super relaxed. But relaxed where I could still be productive. I could still go about my day without feeling like, oh, I'm high and I can't talk to people. It's very, very mild. I don't know about the oils that these guys are promoting. I actually never tried it myself. I've only smoked the CBD.
How many times a week do you work out? How many hours per session? And yeah, just like what's your typical split?
So right now it's 4 days a week because I'm in off season, and so that's going to change. But when I'm doing bodybuilding, it'll be as much as 6 days a week, even in some occasions twice a day. When I'm doing strongman, it's 3 days a week. Powerlifting, 4 days a week. Now, powerlifting, I'm spending sometimes 2.5 hours in the gym because the rest periods are much longer. Not as much as 20 minutes, but around 8 to 10 minutes between sets. And strongman, same thing, 2.5 hours, 2 hours. With strongman, you have to set up equipment. You have to roll the stones all the way across the gym and set up the boxes and put the yoke together, and it just takes a lot of time just to set everything up. With bodybuilding, those are the shortest workouts. 60 minutes, sometimes a little over 60. Very short rest period, sometimes as little as 30 seconds. So you get through each exercise very quickly. It's very intense, and you hardly have time to catch your breath. So that's what I have to say about that. At the moment, it's roughly 90 minutes because I'm just in off season, just doing some bodybuilding, a form of bodybuilding training to add more size. Nothing too intense. Yeah.
유튜브 비디오에서 그 핫톱, 쿨톱 계속 왔다 갔다 하는 거를 회복 이런 거 위해서 한다고 하는 걸 봤는데 그런 거에 대해서 좀 얘기해 줄 수 있는 게 있는지.
So he's seen on your YouTube that you do the hot cold baths. He's just wondering how effective was it for you? Do you recommend it? And just your general vibe about it. Yeah.
Sorry?
The hot cold bath? He just wonders how you feel about it.
Well, hot and cold done right is amazing. Now, I for one hate cold water. I can hardly handle cold showers, but the way Thor had it set up is he had a hot and cold tub in his house, in his backyard. And the hot tub, I think, reached about 50 Celsius. So it was almost boiling hot. You have to get in so slowly because every inch you put in more in the tub, you're burning yourself. And you come out and you're red everywhere. It's very, very hot. But that's when the hot and cold feels amazing, even during, not only after, because you're so hot in the hot tub. When you get in the cold tub, you're still hot from the hot tub, even though it's an ice tub, and you're completely immersed over to your neck. But the benefits of hot and cold therapy, I think, I've tried, general painkillers, ibuprofen and Motrin and whatever, and I found doing hot and cold is a much more powerful anti-inflammatory than any painkiller out there. I can be sore. I could be so sore I can barely get out of bed, can barely bend over, and I would do a hot and cold that same day. The next morning, wake up, and it'll be like I never worked out. You just feel so fresh the next day. It's just such a powerful anti-inflammatory. Now I've tried hot and cold in Dubai, and to be honest, the hot tub is more like a warm bath. So when you get in the ice tub, it's just unbearable for me. I just can't. So I'm actually looking into buying a villa in Dubai and having my own hot and cold tub where you can adjust the temperature of the hot tub. So when you go into the cold, it's not unbearable because it's something that you want to consistently do. If you can do it after every training session, that'd be amazing. But if it's like unbearable for you, then you want to only use it when you have to. For example, you have a PR Friday, you worked out Wednesday, you have Thursday off. You do the hot and cold Wednesday and Thursday. So that Friday, you have no soreness and no mental blockage or barriers. I feel kind of sore, not fully recovered. So that can mess with your confidence. So when you're not feeling any soreness anywhere, you feel like you're fully recovered and you're fresh. And there's nothing stopping you from, completely attacking the weight. Yeah.
Oh. It's like, what's the regimen? Like, how many minutes in the cold and how many minutes in the hot? What did you normally do?
What worked for me is, and all of us, Thor and his friends did it, it was 5 minutes in the hot and 2 minutes in the cold. Now, doing it with friends, if you can find a friend to do it with, it'll make it so much easier. So much, you talk, take your mind off of it, watch them suffer. They watch you suffer, it's a good time. But doing it by yourself is 100% harder psychologically. No one to talk to. You can maybe try playing some music. But other than that, I would recommend trying to get somebody, even a group of guys, to do it with, for sure.
Is it like just one time? Like one time hot, one time cold, or like you go back and forth?
We did 3 sets. So 3 times in the hot, 3 times in the cold, and finish with the hot.
I see.
When you don't go to gym, what do you do for rest?
For rest?
Yes. Or hobby?
Oh, for hobbies, yes. So I do watch Crunchyroll, and yeah, I do like watching anime. Not every day, but there's some that I follow. Like there's some good ones that come out every season. I go on a list of like 2019 winter anime, spring anime, summer anime. So I watch it closely. Not all of them are good, but some are. So I'll spend my time at home doing some of that. But as you guys probably suspect, I get tons of DMs, tons of emails regarding just all sorts of questions. So I try to dedicate a lot of my time when I'm alone at home to my supporters, answering their questions, and that takes up a lot of time. I can't get to everybody, even if I spend all night and day, because once you start talking to a new person, you can't just give them one response and then never talk to them again. It ends up becoming a back and forth. Next thing you know, you have 50 people you're talking to every day. So that takes up a lot of time. But, my girlfriend in Dubai has lots of activities for me to do. There's all kinds of things we do, like ATVing, skydiving, the movies. Dubai has the world's most luxurious cinema, so I'm in the movie theater twice a week. I love going to the movies. At one point, I had my own home theater, projector, surround sound setup in New Jersey. Only lasted for a little while before I moved, but it was amazing, and this is like the next best thing. The seats are like first-class seats in an airplane. It's super comfortable. The seats in theater are 2-seated with walls, so no one's too close to you, and it's just amazing. I love going to the movie theater. But outside of that, that would be it. That'd be it, yeah. Pretty simple.
So what's your favorite anime?
Favorite right now would be season 1 of One Punch Man. Season 2 sucks. I hate to say it, but season 1 was amazing, yeah. And the rope place, the college.
I work out my biceps for this one, moving the plates for lady.
Very good. Nice. You guys might not know, but I haven't squatted in about a month or so, right, Adam?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, when you're training for so many years, and you don't take more than, let's say, a week off at a time, a few weeks of not training movement can actually do you good. For example, my back feels great, my legs feel great, my knees feel great, everything feels just feels fresh. And I'm sure if I wanted to, like if there was a proper Texas squat bar here, I'm sure I could probably work up to a rep PR of some sort. But that's not the objective for the next 2 months. The objective is to add more mass, lay off the super heavy weights. There will be some rep PRs coming in the future, maybe in the next few weeks or so, but for the next couple of weeks, definitely just want to ease back into squatting. But my body feels great at the moment. And yeah, let's smash some weights, sure.
Want it higher?
This is good, yeah.
What's it? 아 진짜?
Mind talking my back?
Yeah.
Thanks, so my own slip. Ah.
One, two, three, four, five. Break it out. Let's go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go.
hit me, I jumped off. The only reason my knee hurts is I jumped off my knee. He didn't hit me. Oh.
Feels pretty good. My legs feel fresh. Knees feel good. Lungs don't. They're pretty out of shape. It's been a month since really doing any kind of leg training, aside from farmers. So I only had about 4 hours sleep in 2 days. Not feeling great, but no excuses. Just keep your guys updated on how I feel. Really excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow I got some sightseeing planned. I'll finally be able to rest tonight and see Tokyo. I leave Monday. I'll be going to Y4 gym, get a meet and greet there. Currently I'm at Train True. Huge support system here. Really appreciate it, especially because I felt that I didn't really have a name or any recognition outside of America. So it's really surprising and shocking that my name reached this far and that I've been inspiring and helping people this far from home. So I feel really good about that. Decided for the next year or so to, when I travel to these different countries, do meet and greets wherever I can. Not going to be charging anything unless gym owners would like to give me some sort of compensation. So let's look over there real quick. Someone's going for a PR. That's more interesting.
Let's go. Let's go. You got this.
Come on!
Come on!
Yeah.
What?
Come on!
2. 3.
Nice.
5. 6. Come on. Come on. 7.
3 more, that's it. Breathe.
8.
Pull, don't down, pull.
9. There it is.
Pull now, come on. Pull, don't wait, pull.
Come on.
Convincing me to make the switch. Your show is actually really good though. Yeah, I would say one strong squat, you have to swing on.
And I'll do some single leg calf raises as well in between.
I got short arms still, I can't. Like with mental, I have to go down so much.
So are you
Yeah.
where are you resting? Where are you resting?
Just warm it up real quick.
Let it go professional. Sumo? Yeah.
You should try doing your fingertips.
Fingertips?
So you want to contribute?
Perfect.
I can't personally, but a lot of guys can. So like fingertips over. Yeah, you want to just get inward and then pull up your hand further in. Just grab them up and also there's the fingertips over under, right?
Yeah.
It's the same concept. But you just gotta practice that. You look like you're right? And then try to grab it, and then just work on something that's lower in your face.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Nice. You're a champion arm wrestler here in Korea, right?
Yeah.
So it's safe to say he's got to have a monster grip. Number 2?
Oh, 1.5.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have to close it here. Close. Okay.
1.5.
All right. Number 2.
Yeah, this one's 2.
Okay. Number 2. Ah. It's closed. Okay.
Number 2.
Nice. I heard the metal clink.
10.5. This is number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is 2.5?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys.
Come on.
Closed.
Closed?
Yeah.
Wow. Almost. Well, again. One more try.
Come on.
Come on, yo.
Squeeze.
No way. Okay, you're 3, right?
I'll try 3.
This one is 3. Need a chalk?
There's a thing enough chalk on here.
Yeah.
I'll give it a second. Good, I just did 4 in a row.
How about ammonia?
Probably would help. Number 3.
Number 3. Do you need a bed? Come on!
Oh, close, but not enough.
Almost. Just a little bit, yeah. Good job.
Thanks, man. Good battle.
완벽한 후에 완벽하게 대응하려고 모든 정보를 자기 스스로를 잘 못하는 채로 할 수 없어서 완벽하게 지식을 습득한 후에
Come on,
yeah.
Okay, let's go. Okay, let's see it.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
See it. Push! Very nice.
Come on, yo.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Push! Okay, let's go.
See it, come on.
Come on.
Yes. Nice.
Come on. Thank you.
Of course.
Come on, Letty.
That's it.
Come on. Aha. Come on, yo.
Let's see it.
Who's? Okay, let's go.
See it. Yes.
saved my life. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, drop a comment, and I'll be doing another Q&A very soon. My next trip is Tokyo, so stay tuned.